At the end of this course, I will give you this reading material. You'll be able to read it yourself. And after going through, I hope we can finish it, the theory today. Then Friday, we start designing. The practical come on Friday, we start designing. We will use wireframe, that's balsamic, to design our interfaces and our products. Now, my main objective for this particular class is to make you understand what the user experience means and how it matters as a UX or UI designer. I also make sure you understand how to approach UX and its usability, how to approach the UI, the user interface design. You don't just start designing anything or anyhow. No, you know how to approach it and how to really design it. Now, in fact, we've all been using a lot of apps, a lot of systems, and we have a lot of experiences with a lot of apps. You can see from my screen, we have about one, two, three, four interfaces on my screen. We have a larger screen, we have phone screens. You have each of them showing you separate, let's say, pages of an app or a website. Now you can see the view on the computer is different from the view on the phone, and it's different from the view of the other two. In UX design, in fact, your main object or your main focus is to make sure what you are designing, though it's different, but the user actually know what it's about, and when the user gets to it, he or she can just straightforward uses it. So user interfaces of a different sort. When you talk about user interface or UX, it doesn't necessarily also deals with you designing. It also deals with every product. It can be car, it can be bicycle, it can be headset, it can be devices you designing. So it's not, don't just think about you designing flyers or some. No, this is not about flyers. This is a real business. When you are in a company, you are a UI designing company, you don't design flowers. No, you design products. The product of a company. So a company says, I want to produce a phone, design one for me. As a UX or UI design, you are going to sit down and design the phone. What you take into consideration is the customer. The customer is your main center point. How would the customer see what you've designed? How will he or she understand it? Even though you have designed it and you understand what you are doing, but the person who is going to use it, is it user friendly? I know most of you visited some website, you feel so, in fact, confused. Or you've opened some apps, you feel confused. Yes, it's a fault of the UX or the UI designer, because he or she didn't consider you a designer. So UX, UI designing, it can be sort of, your company can tell you to design a model of a car, design headsets, or design, let's say, this is a gas cooking stove. They are all forms of UX, UI. Right. What is a good design? What is a good design? When we ask what is a good design, do you ever see the time actually set on one of these devices? In fact, the device you are seeing, do you see the time? Obviously, I don't know. Please speak. Who doesn't see the time on this device? Is it so visible, or you struggle to see the device, the time? Anyone? Bakari.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Marian.
Sir, please, it's visible and I can see it.
Right. Okay. So you see the design of this product made like this if so that in fact you see the color of the time is not black. So immediately you see this device and you watch it carefully, you realize, oh, this is the time, this is it, this is the volume, this is it. So making it more user friendly to the ordinary user, not the technical people. Whenever you are designing, don't consider yourself. You will understand it, but the one going to use it will not understand. We are not talking about flyers and those stuff. No, leave the flyers and those stuff to the beginners. This is UX and UI class, professional designers of products in companies. Okay, let's move on. He says some are very confusing. In fact, some products are very confusing. But as we move on, you will see. Sometimes you will be actually visit a website. The website they will tell you hit any key to continue. The hit, are they trying to tell you to use a hammer to hit? Or are they trying to tell you to use your hand to hit? Or are they trying to, what if what you are using, the device you are using, don't have a keyboard? Some are very confusing to the extent you have to think. You, the user coming to use the thing, you have to sit down and think about something before you can actually get what they are saying. That is a bad design. A good design should be straightforward and very simple, should consider the user. Right, we will look at more example. Now see this really confusing interface. It says rooms 101-113, then this one's the rooms 114-128. This can be interpreted in so many ways. This is actually a sign. So a UI or a UX designed this for a company, probably for a hotel company. This is a really confusing design. Why am I saying that? Right now, when I come and see this sign, I would think, someone would think, rooms 101 to room 111 is this building, in fact, the flyer or the poster or something is on, is embedded on, that's the room. We have the arrow pointing here. Are they trying to say there is a way out here or something? When I come there, okay, there is an exit. Are they trying to say there is an exit here? Are they trying to say that downstairs you find room 114 or 128? Or they are trying to say when you go to the right side, you find room 114 or 128. Or they are trying to say when you go to the left side, you find room 101. You see, it's very confusing. But the designer thinks he or she has done a perfect job. He or she understands it, but you don't understand this. This is what we call user experience, a better user experience interface. This is a really confusing interface, and you as a UX or a UI designer, you find yourself in designing a product and you do this thing, even though you understand it, you get opportunity to explain this to the organization, they will understand it, but the user, the customer coming there for the first time, will he or she be able to read this and understand it? You can see this is very confusing. Right, let's move on. Some things are well designed. In fact, some things are well, you can see this map, even though the map is very complicated, but you can actually find your way through. The designer of this map made sure, in fact, the green here, you can see the green here, the major line of the green here has its subs, and it's all green, you know. This one here, the major line is yellow and it's all yellow, and you know. This one is blue. So even if you don't understand or you've never seen a map before, when you get to this map, it automatically helps you to understand, say, okay, the yellow wheel goes to, so the yellow wheel represent, and this one, fantastic, he or she brought a legend explaining each of the lines. So this is an example of a very good design. Even if a customer sees it for the first time, he or she will be able to understand this. What is user experience? Now, what is user experience? In fact, as a UI or as a UX student, designing student, it's not just you sitting down, open up your Photoshop, open up your any tool you design, you start designing. No, put the user at the center of your design. Put the end user at the center of the universe and defines the system from that perspective. How would the user read your design? So you take example, someone is new coming and he or she sees your signboard or sees a product. Maybe it's an iPod or something. You design something. Is the person able to find everything? Well, the person wouldn't have to ask someone. Okay. Usability is finding the best match between a user's needs and a product's needs. While this is specialty by itself, a computer scientist developer can grow an appreciation for UX, which affects functionality, system organization, and structure interactions, look and feel, access. Now, everyone here, I don't know which discipline or you are pursuing, but it doesn't matter. So far as you've made yourself to be a UX or a UI designer, there are certain things you have to put at the back of your mind. One, it has to be it has to be usable. Usable means, in fact, using or considering the user's needs and the product's use. Let's say you are designing let's say a phone for a company you are working for. They say, okay, do we want to actually get into phone industry? Design a phone for us. Now, how are you going to design a phone? You want to make your phone so unique. While making it unique, you need to make sure it's not complicated. We all know phones, the green button is here, the red button is here. Then you design a phone whereby the green button is at the back of the phone. Do you think this phone is going to thrive in the market? No. You design something. Please hold on. I'm coming. Right. Let's continue. What is user interface? In what in computer science we have something, or we have a certain let's say subfield called human computer interaction. It focuses on how actually the interaction between people and computers, how human can actually interact with devices so that it will actually be very smooth or ensure smooth communication between them. The layout of an application's graphics, spoken, touch, or textual controls in conjunction with the way the application responds to user activity. UI, user interaction, fills two key UX. The UI is user interaction and UX is user experience needs. So interactions and look and feel, access. How is the user going to feel about your product? Let's move on. Why do we care about UX and UI design? Why do we even care? Because it matters. If you design the product anyhow, the organization is going to run at a loss. Okay. Now, we have poor UI. Poor UI means people won't use your products. When you design a bad interface, or let me say there's this website you are going to build, then I say you as a UI design it for you. And you design a poor UX interface and you provide technical support, you will realize the technical support will be heavy laden. People will be calling in and day out. So it's obvious people won't use it when it works and will. So people won't use it even when it works and will return it. People won't buy your product and worse will tell their friends not to use it. So this is how far you can actually risk the organization if you don't take the user into perspective when you are designing such products. Let's take this. We have Sony Walkmark here. Then we have the Apple iPod here. The user activities emphasized making playlists, acquiring tones, and playing music. The design emphasized one thumb sample. The difference between these two MP3 players. The one came earlier before the other one, but when the latter one came, that was the 2000, that was the Apple one came, it overtook the first one. Why? Because the latter one, the Apple one came requiring only the user to use only the thumb to operate everything. So those of you who use an iPod, you will see it's just you can just use your thumb and operate everything. But when you using the diamond rail, that's a 1998 year, now the Sony Walkmark, there are a lot you would have to do. A lot here, the side here, we have here at the side here. You can see both of them, this one is more simpler than this. So unique, and you can even see, even if should I ask you right now, most of you will choose the Apple. Why? Because some will choose because the Apple has a bit larger screen here. This one has small. Now the Apple included playlists you can see and select. This one didn't. Apple made sure that these buttons are so flexible that you can just roll your thumb on it. You just roll your thumb on it and you are in fact controlling your device. Meanwhile, the Walkmark, you have to actually click it. You can't roll your thumb on it. You click it. So you realize that For you to click this black button, you'd have to come, move your thumb and come and click it. This one, you just have to roll. So you see the flexibility. And this one continue to grow higher while this one continue to decrease in value. You see the design, the difference between a user-centered design and the one and a design which doesn't incorporate the user, just focused on products. When you design a product and it is unique in the market, when I say unique, that's the first product in the market, even though it's going to go, but when someone comes out with the same product but with a unique version, you will find yours fumbling with the market. As a UX or UI design, put the user at the center of your design. See your product from the perspective of the user. Okay. So we had something from Steve Jobs, the Apple founder. Right. Please hold on. Right. So let's continue. This was from Steve Jobs. So he said most people make the mistake of thinking design is what it looks like. People think is the veneer that the designers are handed this box and told make it look good. That's not what we think design is. It's not just what it looks like and feels like. Design is how it works, how your product, how the user is going to interact and get the positive results from your product. That is how design is. Now we will actually look at sample designs here. Design is hard. Now see here, the user was asked to hit any key to continue. To hit any key to continue. One user will decide to use a hammer and hit it. Another will say press any key to continue, where this user will also say where is the key. But meanwhile, you as the designer, you just said hit any key to continue. You just say, oh, this one is just fun. So just hit any key to continue. The user is going to understand it from your own perspective. And that means you didn't consider the user. You design something, you just say hit any key to continue. Even though it might sound very simple to you, the designer, hit any key to continue. See what the user will be doing. Some will be like, hit any key to continue. What should I use to hit the key? And some will also continue to ask, where is the key? So you should actually put the design or the user at the center of your design. Consider the user from his or her perspective. Don't just use anything because you feel it will be so simple. Don't assume it will be so simple for your users. Hit any key, continue. Your user is using hammer to hit the device he or she is using. You see, this is a design from one product, and is it the one designing it might think, oh, this one is so beautiful. In fact, it's so compact, whereby you have everything inside. But this one is so confusing, so confusing. The user might search and search and search before he or she can find what he or she is looking for. Very bad design. It's easy to overdo designs. It's very easy. You as a designer, you might thought, oh, let me add this, let me add this, let me remove, let me add this. It's very easy. If you don't take care, you overdo your design, and by the time you realize, you've actually produced a very bad design. Oh, let me add this small color here. oh, let me make it blue, let me do this, let me do that. You finish and your user will be calling support center 24/7, asking why is this, why is that. So what is a good design? What actually a good design? That's one, a solution that serves the users and satisfies the client. One, that's what the user need and wants. It should actually do what the user need and want. So if the user wants to actually log in, just give the user. So when you are creating a login form, maybe you are designing a login form, you just provide name, username, password. If you want to bring a login, just click on login. So you just click login, then don't just go and say hit anything to login, or just any word so that you can make it fun. No, it should be what the user need and want. Simple and straightforward. We have to natural to use. In fact, it doesn't necessarily have to very. That's why I say it's easy to overdo whatever you are designing. If you don't take care, you overdo it. Make it very natural. Whatever you are designing, just go straight to the point. Make it natural and simple. Now, it also helps them avoid trouble. It helps them to avoid trouble. In fact, in avoid trouble says you put the organization support center having led them. Day in and day out, they will be calling, they will be receiving calls on how to go about this, how to go about that. User-centered design. What does it mean? It means put the end user at the center of the universe and defines the system from that perspective. So that login interface you design, how would the user sees it? How is the user going to interact with it? Or what type of question is the user going to ask when he or she sees that interface? Fine, you've designed a very nice interface, a very nice login interface. You have your login, you have your password. Now, instead of you to bring in just a button and says login, you brought a button, then says like hit any key to continue or to log in, or in fact press any key to continue, or you are saying nevertheless um, click this button at the button here to continue. In fact, you are just confusing the user. Straightforward, simple, go straight to the point. Make it in a way whereby the user is the sole, in fact, centered personnel you are designing the product for. Human capabilities, and we have values and sensibilities. One, memory, attention, visual and audio perception, learning, language plus communication, touch, ergonomics. Now, human capabilities. We are humans and we have all these. Then note that each human has a different sense of these. The memory, we are different. Attention, we are different. Visual and audio perception, we are different. Some people see green as red and some see red as green. We have the learning abilities. We have the language communication. It's different how someone will read your sentence. We have the touch, we have ergonomics, we have the values and sensibilities, we have the level of experience. Someone might not use that, might not have logged in before or never have logged into any site or any app before. This might be the person's first time. How is the person going to feel with your design? Level of experience, physical or mental capabilities and limitation, cultural expectations, language differences, senses of style have different needs and value. Now, you should understand all these attributes. They varies from each person. consider each of them and provide a very universal one that is easily understood by each and everyone. Even if it's the person's first time interacting with such an interface, he or she will know his or her way around it. Please, any question? Right. Let's continue. Our class can end any moment from now. We will rejoin and continue with it. But before that, we will still continue. You must understand human capabilities and preferences to design great systems. You must understand human capabilities and preferences to design great systems. We have traffic lights here. Okay, we will rejoin and continue with this example. So I will send you the link in your Slack channel. Kindly share it in your WhatsApp group, then rejoin again. Yeah.